stick with me. Basic terms you should understand by the end of this presentation. System of record, an SOR, and a data integration provider. Really, really simple. The thing you want to talk to, like ServiceNow, is an SOR, and the thing you're going to use to talk to it is a DIP, or a data integration provider. All right? So if you remember this, you will stick with me through this deck. If you don't remember this, you'll be very confused about 5 minutes in. So make sure you get it. OK. We have Citrix Cloud. It's warm and fluffy and blue. And inside it, we have a service that gives you the UI that you're going to push out to an end user. Now, we also, of course, have systems of record like Concur in this case, and the user can go directly to those systems of record in their web browser as they do right now. But of course, what we want to do is give them those actionable notifications that Jay talked about before. So we have these services in Citrix Cloud, Microapp service, notification service, and we're going to bridge into Citrix Cloud with that data integration provider. And so the point here is a data integration provider speaks the API of the thing on the right such that the thing on the left can make those notifications. Well, the good news is that we can help you there because we can start thinking about the criteria about which notifications to generate and whom to send them to. Because what we are doing is using our own event generation engine based on a cache. The reason the cache is important is because, of course, we're now pulling data in. And to do that, we have that data integration provider. So it's not real time. So one of the important things you should take away from this presentation is if you have a notification coming in or being expecting to be generated from a record that's being modified, you won't get the notification straight away. And that's why Jay was doing that, hey, do an incremental sync now manually rather than waiting 2 minutes or 5 minutes, because it's not going to come up instantly. And so what we're trying to get you to be able to do after these 2 days is use the tools in order to create new data integration providers and new microapps. So how do you do that? So here's our microapp service. This is Citrix Cloud again. Here's our cache. And here is our target system of record. And the ones that we're going to be assuming over these 2 days are going to be ones that have a nice web services API. All right? Now, I will caveat right now, not everything speaks JSON and REST. All right? I know that. Shoot me later. We have a thing called an HTTP integration. Unsurprisingly, that is something that understands JSON and REST on the right-hand side, speaks the appropriate language on the left-hand side. What you are going to be doing is basically teaching that how to talk to whatever system you think is appropriate. And what I mean by that is, yes, it speaks JSON, but it doesn't know what tables are in there. It doesn't know what fields are in there. It doesn't know which one is the primary key. It certainly doesn't know which one to update when they update a particular field in Microapp. All right? All of that will mean that you end up creating a DIP that understands how to talk to this thing on the right so that it's in green, and then you can configure and create microapps that use the data that's pulled in by this HTTP integration and, of course, writes back. Now, as I said, not everything speaks JSON and REST, so fear not. We have considered that. Right now, the solution to that is, funnily enough, wrap it up in something that does. And of course, the naysayers will say, this is terrible, it's not going to work. I would point out, however, that it's another opportunity for you to make money. Because when you have a customer that says, I really want this integrated into Workspace, the answer is, that's a great idea. I will also need to create this yellow thing as well. That will be another line item on the bill. Okay? And if there are customers in the room, then apologies. That is the truth. But anyway, we are, and we'll talk a little bit tomorrow about how we are going to come to terms with that problem in more detail. So stick with me. I'm going to sort of wrap it up because I'm conscious that there's coffee, and coffee is probably more interesting than I am. But here's what I want you to remember. So number one, we talked about don't re-implement the monolith, right? So photocopy a Japanese toilet, whatever it is, just make sure that a microapp is a subset of the application's functionality. It is not re-implement the whole application. If you are re-implementing the whole application, you're probably doing something wrong. Next one, DIPs, SORs, DIPs are the things that connect you, that bridge between the system of record and Citrix Cloud. Easy peasy. There is a cache, there is incremental sync, and we have our own event generator. All right, so this does mean that we can start looking at creating conditions under which events are generated that are far more detailed and interesting than you might expect from the target system. Fourthly, kind of important security, reads are bulk via service account. It is a read-only, or rather an account that only has read-only permissions. Okay, so you don't have a all-powerful rights to everything and anything service account. That would be bad. Writes are therefore done in the context of each user. And again, keep in mind, if you have a system that does not have the ability to authorize me to act on behalf of the user, then we need to start thinking about different ways of doing authentication and authorization. So again, stuff to talk about now. And the final one, you remember my dashed yellow box. My dashed yellow box is you can wrap stuff up that doesn't speak REST into something that does. Clearly that is more work. I would argue again that more work, provided it's reasonable, is actually a good thing. With that, I will stop